Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Legends in Detail podcast. I am one of the co-hosts, Corey Hathaway. We also got Sam Hoffman. Sam.
Dude, what's up?
Dude, and guess who's back? Back again.
Oh, God.
Eric's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
They're with three of our fans.
Dude, I am so into white rap right now. It's ridiculous.
Like, what white rap?
I like Lil Dicky. I've always liked Lil Dicky. I
Like,
some of his beats.
actually, or for comedic value?
No, I like. He's got this one song called "Let Me Freak for Real" though, and it's like it's got like this beat to it, and he's singing over it with autotune. I like it. I like the way it sounds. Other than that though, like he's one of those guys you can listen to the song once and you're like, wow, that's pretty funny, and then you're like, I'll never listen to that.
Yeah, that's like Weird Al too. I mean, it's
there's no
any
replay
comedy
value.
rap. It's like you already heard it.
I like the way his music tells stories though. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah. He's pretty good with details too. Like he paints a very good picture. Yeah. I like a mixture between country and rap. I call it crap.
Oh, God. Dude, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
I do listen to country very regularly these days. So that's
Like what kind of country? Like old school country?
Yeah,
or...
there's this guy named Jimmy Rose. He was on America's Got Talent. And dude, I love that guy, man. I'll listen to anything he puts out. Jason Aldean, he's pretty good. Luke Bryan's pretty good.
But I was asking if you were listening to like George Jones and shit, or if you meant like new.
No, not really new stuff. Now it's like the stuff now.
Trash.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't like to do stuff.
Yeah, and I hate your musical taste. I have to be honest,
dude. To be fair, I don't really listen to music at all anymore. I do podcasts.
I don't listen to that much music.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah,
like I can't.
I just shit on everybody else's music.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Dude, don't you hate when you ask a girl, you're like, "What kind of music you listen to?"
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And it's like, I don't know, not everything.
I've listened to everything that's ever been put.
Like, dude, if I put on pig squilling, would you like? You'd be like, "Oh my god, it's such a vibe." I do. That's my new thing that I hate when people say, "Dude, it's such a vibe right now."
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we're talking about Kobe today, though. Kobe, number 24. We did number 8. Took a little break. Did a little Drew Brees, and now we're finishing up Kobe, number 24. Yeah, I think it. You know, honestly, I thought going into it, I was like, dude, they're kind of just. It's hard to pick which one's better because they virtually had the same stats. Like they played just about the same amount of games. It was very similar. But I think number 8 was better.
So, I mean, I guess number 8, like, what wasn't Kobe 24's stats were slightly higher, weren't they?
Points per game and stuff, but the shooting percentage was worse.
Shooting percentage was worse.
But to be fair, he didn't have Shaq down
he did more
there.
with less,
Yeah,
though, right?
he did more with less. True. I think he was more talent. He had more talent as number 8, but he was a smarter basketball player as number 24. So that's how he won those 2 rings.
Yeah, I think number 8 was more athletic than 24.
So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. Although number 24, he was what we would call sneaky athletic at that point.
I guess.
He had a couple.
I don't know if Kobe was that sneaky athletic.
No, he was pretty. Even up until he tore it. Now, when he tore his Achilles, it was.
Yeah, I mean, you could see a sharp decline.
But before that, dude, I remember him specifically like having some dunks where I'm like, whoa, Kobe still got it. So, but we're talking about from 2006, 2007 to 2015, 2016. Basically 10 years. He played 639 games over that span of time. 10 All-Star appearances, 1-time scoring champ in 2007, which is kind of crazy.
Every year he made the All-Star team as 24.
Yep.
Although you
those
probably shouldn't have made it.
Those last couple, bro.
He shouldn't have made it.
Yeah, those last couple, it was like, all right.
Fan votes.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like when Larry Bird made the Dream Team. Everyone was like, I don't know, man. You back. Like, you can barely
How
walk.
long have they been doing the fan voting for the All-Star games? Like, that's pretty new, isn't it?
I think so.
Like, early in Kobe's career, they wouldn't have been doing that. That was probably during Kobe's career.
I guess. I think so. Dude, okay, yeah. So there have been 3 players in NBA history that have won MVP and Defensive Player of the Year at the same time. Who are those 3 players? Go.
Isaiah Thomas? No, he never won MVP.
No. Yeah.
Duncan?
Nah.
Kobe.
Nah.
Oh shit.
LeBron?
Someone did it recently. LeBron should have in 2013. That was BS. They gave it to Marc Gasol. I'm still not over that.
So LeBron doesn't have a defensive player of the year.
No, he should have 2 of them because Tyson Chandler got one, and that was BS. And then Marc Gasol got one out of nowhere. They just didn't want to give it to Bron.
Is it Giannis?
Yep, Giannis is one. He was the most recent one. MJ. He's number 2. And then third one
more.
Yeah, center. Think of the best defensive center ever.
Bill Russell?
Touche. Think of the second best defensive.
Ben Wallace.
No.
No.
Ben Wallace was like 6'8" guarding Shaq. It's wild, dude. And he did it. Like, that's the crazy part is he pulled it off. It is Hakeem.
Hakeem, okay.
Yeah. Hakeem,
I need to brush up on my Hakeem.
Hakeem.
We haven't talked about him at all in this podcast.
Dude, we will. Number 1 all-time in blocks. Top 10 all-time in steals as a center.
Jesus.
I don't know how he's not. I can't put him over Kareem. Can't put him over Wilt. But
no,
right after that, it's like, how can you not put a game? I mean, those, and people, a lot of times, I think we'll talk about this when we break down Jordan a little bit, but I went back and watched that year when, Jordan took 18 months off. Then he came back and played the Magic. That Bulls team, Jordan averaged 31 and 7 in that series. It's not like he was not playing well. No. Everyone likes to pretend that, he had baseball muscles and not bad. Okay. Okay.
And Jordan averages 31 on baseball muscles.
Yeah, dropped 55 at Madison Square Garden. He was good. The Bulls were not that good of a team because they didn't have a power forward. They lost Horace Grant, and they went up against Shaq, and Shaq dominated them. So I think a lot of people misremember that as, Jordan, he wasn't the same. And he wasn't. Like, it was clear he was getting more tired and stuff. But he still put up 31 and 7 in that series. So he was still Jordan. He just, people like to misremember that. The NBA burned the tapes. The NBA wants Jordan to, he could have went 8 straight. I don't know. So, but anyways, dude, we can get back to Kobe. Career stats, this is as number 24. 26.3 points per game. Basically 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And 1.4 steals a game. 0.3 blocks, not blocking that well. And then 3.1 turnovers. And he did it on, 3.1 turnovers. Did it on 44.3 field goal percentage, which is lower than what it was when he was number 8, and then 32.5 3-point percentage, which is not great.
No.
But Kobe was really more of a one-step in, fadeaway type of guy. So
he likes taking those tough shots.
He loved taking a tough one. Dude, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, Chris Middleton just had the game of his life again. And he will completely shit the bed tonight. Like, I've expected that's what we're going to get.
Today?
Yeah. They're going to play today. Chris Middleton will shit the bed. Mark my words.
Why do you say that?
Because Chris Middleton's
because they're on the road?
His pattern is he plays, like, he plays horrific. And then everyone's like, Chris Middleton's trash. Then he plays, like, MJ level. And then
only in these... Well,
this whole playoffs, dude. He's got as many games under 20 as he has over 20. Yeah.
He's a roller coaster.
He is. Dude.
I guess I'm mostly remembering the good games.
Yeah,
because it just seems like he's had such a good playoffs until these finals where he's only had one good game.
I think Chris Middleton is... I used to think he was a number 3. I think he's a number 2 now. I think he's proven to me he's a number 2. He's a poor man's Kevin Durant, and when I say poor man, I mean like on the street begging,
Homeless.
Like, yeah, homeless. But he has the ability in a quarter to beat Kevin Durant for a quarter, and he does it in the fourth quarter. And
He takes a lot of tough ones too.
dude, he takes the toughest shots.
Yeah.
He knocks them down though. Like that's what I'm saying. He's kind of built like Kevin Durant too. He's that lanky, And dude, when he's
How tall is he? Is he 6'10"?
I don't think he's that tall. I think it's like 6'7", 6'8". I think
look it up.
Look it up because I honestly don't know. But he's kind of they got similar builds.
Yeah.
6'7".
Yeah, 6'7". So he's like Scottie Pippen height.
Damn, I would have guessed he was taller than that.
Yeah, no, it looks like he would be taller than that, but 6'7". That's still pretty good size, and I'm sure he's got long arms. I like Chris Middleton. Like I think he's he can close out a game for you. Because Lord knows Giannis can't.
Sometimes he looks like a number one.
Sometimes he does.
Damn, like sometimes he really looks like a number one.
I'm like,
Depends what game it is.
Yeah.
I like Chris Middleton. Dude, Chris Paul, man. It's not looking good for him.
Yeah.
Really.
No.
I don't know.
Do you think he's hurt?
I don't know.
Well, is that what they're saying? What's the
Well, he's having problems like holding on to the ball. And that's like Chris Paul's never had that issue. So
what do you mean? Like he's getting a lot of turnovers?
Yeah, a lot of turnovers and turning over the ball. And if they can, and he was
like he's
grabbing
having trouble
at his
dribbling,
hand.
or
Yeah, he's having trouble dribbling, and he was grabbing at his hand. Dude, Devin Booker was cooking, and he had 20 points in the third quarter.
I like Devin Booker.
I like Devin Booker a lot. He's not Kobe. He's not.
Dude, every time we talk about Devin Booker, you say that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the comparison between Devin Booker and Kobe is very premature.
There are similarities for sure. They're both great mid-range shooters. They're both killers.
But Kobe's mid-range game is nothing like that. I feel like Devin Booker's mid-range game is more like coming off screens,
Catch and shoot.
Yeah, it's catch and shoot stuff.
Devin Booker's not naturally a one-on-one player.
He's
exactly.
just a shooter.
He's a better Klay Thompson.
Like Kobe's is more crossover pull-up or turnaround fadeaway. That's his mid-range game.
Kobe's pump fake 4 times and then fade away from it.
Exactly.
Dude, I think
the amount of
Booker's a
times
better
that
shooter.
Kobe can pump fake.
It's crazy. And spin too. Dude, when I watch him more, it's kind of crazy because I missed a lot of Kobe's career because I was a LeBron fan. But going back and watching him, dude, his skill level was, it's unbelievable.
How mad did it make you in middle school, high school, when people would say that Kobe was better than LeBron?
Oh, dude, legitimately, I'd be ready to cry. Like I really would. That's how much I cared. And now I'm older now, and whenever someone says like, "Dude, Jordan's better," I'm like, yeah, that's a fair argument. He went 6-0. Like I'm so much more like, LeBron. I'm to a point now where you can't mention Michael Jordan's name without mentioning LeBron's like right close. That's good enough for me. Like, dude, if you're in the conversation.
Yeah, all you can do is get in the conversation. I don't think the conversation is ever. It's just too subjective for
comparing
everyone
errors.
To agree, but and that's the biggest thing.
Dude,
comparing.
If Bron would have played in the 90s, I think he would have his stats would have been unreal. I really do think he would have just dominated in the 90s. I really do.
What do you think his stats would have been?
I think they would probably been a little bit better.
Like Jordan points per game, but more rebounds and assists?
I don't know if he would.
Do you think he'd still be a small forward?
No, I think he'd run point. I think if he had to do it all over again, he would stay at point guard for his whole career. Because back then, they just didn't look at it. They were like, Magic Johnson did it, but that's it.
Yeah.
And now it's like Ben Simmons is a point guard. He's 6'10". Giannis is basically a point guard. And he's 6'11". KD.
I don't know. He brings the ball.
He brings the ball up. No, Giannis should be playing center. They should have Giannis post up every single.
I'm fine with him bringing the ball down the court. He could be a point center.
A point center. He should
because he's damn good in the fast break. So you don't want to take that away. But then in the half court, he should not be taking shots more than 15 feet.
Dude, he's actually a pretty good mid-range shooter. That's the crazy thing is he can knock down a mid-range. He just can't. That 3-point shot, dude, is so ugly every time it goes up.
His shot's so slow.
So slow. And they give it.
Quick draw.
My thing is Giannis, you got a pretty good basketball IQ. They're giving you that shot, which means they want you to take that shot, which means it's not an efficient shot. Stop taking it. Take a step in. Take a mid-range.
Do you think his coaches are telling him to keep shooting, or do you think
I
it's like a
think-
competitive thing?
I
where-
think Mike Budenholzer is happy to have a job, and he's like, yeah, Giannis, you do whatever you want. And Giannis like, shut up. It's like, I run this team. Mike Budenholzer, man, he's got to go. He's playing.
Yeah, but
PJ
like,
Tucker.
I mean, I don't know. When somebody is stepping back, giving you a shot as a competitor, they're inviting you. Like, there's something alluring about it. Like, most guys can't turn it. It's disrespectful, and you want to show them that, you know, you're
I'm a
not
two-time
defending me the
MVP.
right way. Yeah, like, you have to defend me all over the court, but in reality, no, they
Yeah,
don't.
I'm a two-time MVP. I'll take the shot. I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, I respect Giannis, dude, because I will say, I thought he was fragile. Like, I really, like, his mind was fragile. I don't think it is, though. Like, I think he's gonna, he doesn't change the way he plays just because they're fouling him, you know? Like, he still is aggressive the whole game. And, dude, his defense is legit. Like, blocking Ayton. Now, granted, Ayton is as soft as, the way he went up on that alley-oop, I was like, dude, you wanted to get blocked. Like, you didn't want it. 6 points. Yeah. I can't have him on my team.
Booker should have been fouled out too.
Bo, I literally, at that moment, I was like, oh my God, they're cooking the books on this game. There's no way they missed that foul call. He was so clearly, he wanted to foul him. It was crazy. Oh, could you imagine the Bucks lose and that happens? And you're just like, this game's clearly rigged. Dude. Yeah. He clearly fouled out. All right. It's just kind of, I don't like it. Kobe's playoff stats, though. See how we doing? See how we switch it back? You like that? Kobe's playoff stats. So Kobe, in his first playoff run as number 8, his numbers went down. But number 24, his numbers went up in the playoffs. He averaged 29.3 points per game, 5.3 rebounds, 5.1 assists, 1.5 steals, 0.6 blocks, and 3.1 turnovers, to the exact number of turnovers. He was a 4-time NBA All-Star, 2-time All-Star MVP for 2007, 2009, 4-time All-Defensive First Team, 4-time All-NBA First Team. He was an MVP in 2008, and he was a 2-time champion, 2009, 2010, and 2-time Finals MVP as well. So that's pretty impressive. So I think if we're going to break down Kobe, we have to kind of go back a little bit because it's important to know we were running out of time on the last podcast, so we really didn't talk about it. But after 2004, they lose the finals to the Detroit Pistons.
That was a great series.
That was a pretty good series. That was probably the worst, like team-wise, as far as talent level. That's probably the worst NBA champion team since 2011, the Dallas Mavericks. If you think
but there's a tendency to define talent as offensive talent.
That's true.
There was a lot of defensive talent on that team.
They played very well together.
I think if Shaq and Kobe would have kept their feud, they'd have ran through Detroit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
man, it's so scary to think about if Shaq wasn't a big baby.
Dude, it's tough to watch Shaq play in like the early 2000s. It really is, because the games are ugly because everything's a foul. Mm-hmm. It doesn't, you could call offensive foul on every single possession. You could call defensive foul. Like, he is so physical back then. And there was so much stuff left uncalled. It was I went back and watched those New Jersey Nets series when they beat them in 2002. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, every single possession. First of all, the guy they had guarding Shaq shouldn't even have been on the court. He was horrendous. And Shaq was just, I mean, you couldn't stop him. It was crazy. It was almost to the point where I was like, I don't even want to watch this because it's just, everything's a foul. Like, how do you ref this guy? You can't.
Yeah, I mean, the entertainment quality of a basketball game can be completely diminished if there's a lot of free throws.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's another problem I noticed too, is like the pacing in today's game is horrendous. Like, it's so bad every time the instant replay.
Dude, okay, what if they changed it to where you do one free throw worth 2 points? Yeah. Speed up the game.
What about when it's 3-pointer?
Do one free throw for 3 points.
I don't know.
Nah.
I just think.
So you want a slow game?
No, I want centers to be able to hit free throws, and I think Ben Simmons should be able to hit free throws, and then the games won't hack a Shaq every.
But Ben Simmons will never hit free throws.
Well,
and there will always be Ben Simmonses.
There will.
I think part of the problem is what they're calling fouls on too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely
the pump fake and then they lean forward to shoot is ridiculous.
That's my biggest problem with the way NBA officials are is they reward flopping so much on the offensive and defensive side.
Jay Crowder wouldn't have a career without it.
Yeah.
Bo, every time he shoots, he falls down. Every single time he shoots, he falls down. And it's like Chris Paul same way.
Half the fouls were only fouls because somebody had to sell it. It's like that's not the spirit of why fouls exist. The spirit of why fouls exist is so that the defense or the offense can't gain an unfair advantage by pulling some bullshit, being too physical. But now, I mean, when half the fouls are because somebody had to sell it, that's not the point of why fouls exist in the first place.
Something else I'd like to see them do is refs. The refs today are pushovers. They're completely the NBA's pushovers with them too. Scott Foster is the only ref that has a little bit of personality as like, hey, he'll throw you out if you talk to him. They need to bring that back. Remember Joey Crawford? Dude, Joey Crawford threw Tim Duncan out of the game for laughing on the sideline. They need more of that. I hate to say it, they need more of that.
Wait,
guys
what do you mean? You want more guys getting thrown? What do you saying?
No, I want refs with more personality because the complaining,
with a spine, okay.
The level of complaining is out of control.
I hate when they put their hands up.
And they didn't do it back then because the refs have personality.
You can ride a ref all game, but as soon as you bounce that ball too hard, it's a technical. And you get two of those. If you bounce the ball too hard twice, you're thrown out.
Bro, there was a play last year in the bubble, and I love LeBron. There was a play where he was mid-shot, got fouled, and was complaining while he hit the layup. And I'm just sitting there like, what? The complaining level has gotten to, it's ridiculous. They got to stop it.
Yeah. We all sound like Jeff Van Gundy right now.
But it's true, though. Jeff Van Gundy's the only one that thinks of the NBA as a business. He is the only one that does that. And
he's the only one who calls bullshit. Like, he's the only one. He's the only, I mean, I don't know. The other ones just seem like they're, I don't know. They seem like employees of the NBA and not employees of ESPN or
this is
or TNT. Or
Mark Jackson. This is every time when he's talking about Devin Booker, he's like, before Kobe passed away, he told Devin Booker, go be great. And Devin Booker, he accepted the challenge. Mama, there goes that man. Like, it's the same. It's the worst. And then, like, some of the players that they give credit to are guys that are literally only, like, the Warriors. When the Warriors played the Lakers for the play-in game in the tournament, the Warriors, I mean, at that point, they had Draymond Green, Steph, Clay's hurt, Kelly Oubre's hurt. They had in this guy who's averaging like 3 points on the season just because they had to because everyone's injured. Mm-hmm. And Mike Breen's talking about him like he brought 7 championships to the city. Like Mike Breen's talking about like they got a diamond in the rough with this guy. I'm like, this guy's gonna be out of the league the moment Klay Thompson is cleared to play. Like you realize that, right, Mike? Like the positivity is too much. They need it. They're a little critical on these players. They're not critical anymore. Dude, back in the early 2000s, Bill Walton was slamming these players. Now,
what do you think Mark Jackson meant when he said that he was going to hit, or he would have hit Savannah James? This is Savannah or James, right?
I don't know what he meant by that. I think Mark Jackson was like, "There's dead air. Someone's got to say something," and then he's just like, "Dude, I'm going to."
I would hit out of pop, no question.
Yeah. Mark Jackson's the worst, dude. Chris Webber's the worst, too. Chris Webber can't shut up. Like, he talks the entire time, and it's nonsense. Most of the time, he's rambling most of the time. It's like, dude, Reggie Miller's pretty bad, too, as far as a commentator. Click, click. Yeah. Your Kodak moment. Like, God. Man.
He has his moments.
He does. He has some... Grant Hill, I like Grant Hill on there because Grant Hill, he actually is like, I'd like to see him do this more and stuff. Like you can tell Grant Hill has a high basketball IQ. I cannot say the same for Chris Webber, dude. It's pretty rough listening to Chris Webber talk. And honestly, when Magic Johnson did it, I've been watching a lot of those old games. Magic Johnson used to be a commentator. He was horrendous, dude. Like, I mean, some of the stuff he would say. Every once in a while, he'd get some insightful stuff, but most of the time, it was just like, whoa. I didn't realize it was this bad.
I'm not sure high basketball IQ always translates to like being a good commentator.
It doesn't.
Because I feel like a lot of guys with high basketball IQ, they just have that intuition for the game.
That's true.
But being a commentator, like you actually have to break it down in almost more of a theoretical way.
Like whenever I hear Jeff Van Gundy, I'm like, oh, this guy understands basketball.
Yeah.
Like
if you have experience coaching, you're much more likely to be able to, explain the X's and O's.
But then you listen to Mark Jackson, who was also a coach, and you're like,
he played too.
Which is why that's why I feel like I hate Mark Jackson, because I know there's more going on up there. I know that you understand this game on a level that 99 point whatever % of people at home do not. Mm-hmm. So why are you talking about it like you're a layman? I mean, I understand like bringing it down to earth, but he gives you nothing but catchphrases.
The Phoenix Suns will run like a perfect play where Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton are in a pick and roll, and DeAndre Ayton will roll to the rim, and Chris Paul throw it up, and he'll catch it and finish it, and be like, and then Mark Jackson be like, DeAndre Ayton, he just wants it more right now.
I think. Are you saying that if I went out there and I just wanted it more, like I think there's more to it than that.
Mark Jackson, dude, like some of his breakdowns, it's just like, all right, I guess we'll roll with that. But I really do listen. Jeff Van Gundy looks at it and goes, how can this be better for the consumer, and what can we do to make
we need more of him out there?
Yeah, and honestly, everything he's ever suggested, I'm like, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't we try?
But he also sounds like a teenage girl sometimes.
He does sometimes.
I think that's why people don't like him.
I like his brother too, Stan Van Gundy. Like when him and his brother are doing the commentary together, that's when I feel like it's the best, because they have that chemistry and they both understand basketball. Like neither one of them can play, obviously, but their mind, like you're like, dude, like these guys, if they were ever in the right situation, they'd be just like Phil Jackson. Like these guys understand basketball. But anyways, so they lose. 2004, the Lakers in 2004 lose to the Detroit Pistons. They lose in 5 games. Pretty much got swept. I mean, they barely won that first game. So after that season, Kobe and Shaq's feud is at a boiling point. One's got to go. The franchise decided on Kobe Bryant. Shaq leaves, and Kobe the next season misses the playoffs. The season after that, loses in the first round to the Phoenix Suns. And then that's when the number change comes in. So this is 2006-2007 season. He gets the number change to number 24.
Why did he change the number?
I think he wanted a fresh start. Because at this point, you got to figure he's coming off the allegations and stuff.
Yeah, the allegations, Shaq leaves, the team's not great anymore.
Yeah, and he honestly thought for his legacy, like, people are going to remember him in not the best light. So he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change my jersey number, rebrand myself, change my jersey. Dude, his agent, because Kobe didn't come up with that. Because Kobe's mindset is like, you fuck these people,
Yeah.
But his agent, Rob Pelinka, deserves a boatload of credit. Because his agent had to be the one, hey, how about let's do a number change? Let's get you a nickname. Hey, you like snakes, don't you? Black Mamba? Yeah, like that
was probably exactly.
That's such an agent conversation. It's like, dude, right
you
now,
like snakes, don't you?
Yeah, he probably pulled up some graph where he's like, this is where the average NBA player is on social media. This is where you are because of the allegations. So, anyways, Kobe ends up changing his number. He gives himself a nickname, which is kind of, that's a little.
It could either you could either look ridiculous or it could work out very, very well.
It was a dope nickname. I will
like
say
it.
that, like
pretty
Black
cool.
Mamba.
Yeah.
It was a pretty dope nickname. So it was a great pick, whoever picked it.
So how did he like hold a press conference and say, "Hey, I'm the Black Mamba"? Like, how did he announce it to the world?
I guess that's how he did it. I remember him doing an interview where he was explaining why he picked the Black Mamba, and it was just like
He just started talking about
they get
himself in the
laser
third
focus.
person.
Yeah,
He was like, yeah, the Black Mamba scored 35 points.
he was like, I'm Kobe, but when I step on that court, he's doing like a lot of that,
I got you.
But his so in 2006, 2007, first season as the new number, they end up losing to the Suns in the first round again. I did not realize Steve Nash beat Kobe Bryant in 2 straight playoff series. Pretty impressive.
And
the MVP race too.
And the MVP race. Dude.
Yeah.
You think Kobe hates Steve Nash?
I don't think so. I think they respect him. They were teammates too.
What?
Yeah.
At the very
2013. When they put together the super team with Dwight Howard. And
that's right.
40.
Damn. I forgot about that.
They went nowhere.
No, yeah, they were horrendous together.
They were the slowest team in NBA history.
I mean, Dwight Howard was coming off that back injury, and he just wasn't the same at that point.
Kobe didn't like him either, did he?
No, Kobe said he was soft. And he's not soft. Like, he's definitely not soft. But his mentality is horrendous. Like, he's just not a winner. I don't think Dwight Howard ever took basketball seriously until it was too late. And that's unfortunate.
Got a ring, though.
He got a ring.
But he's one of those guys who did a very good job of transitioning into a role player.
Honestly,
he took it like a champ.
Yeah.
I mean, he took it like a champ, and I don't know. I mean, he was so good, and he declined fairly quickly, but he was able to accept.
He was still good with the Hornets. They put up like 16 and 10.
He was damn good with the Hornets.
Yeah.
Did he really put up
It was like 16 and 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Dwight
It feels
Howard,
like a blur, his 1 year with the Hornets.
I honestly think Dwight Howard's back. I think a lot of people like to say, like, he just wasn't good anymore. I think that back surgery, and then he had the shoulder problem as well. They, who was the guy at Meta World Peace? Ron Artest, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about it in the interview, and he was like, y'all should have seen what came out of this guy's back. He was like, it was unbelievable what they took out of his back. He's like, people, he still averaged 17 and 12. So it's not like he didn't put up any numbers, but people seem to forget that he was injured. That's why.
Yeah.
And then when he went to Houston, I mean, him and James Harden, both of those personalities, that was doomed to fail.
Yeah.
Pretty much immediately. And Dwight Howard, after that point, had clearly lost some athleticism. He just wasn't the same. But, so, after that loss to the Suns in 2006, 2007, Kobe Bryant demanded a trade request. Now, Kobe had in his contract a trade clause. So
he could decide if he actually wanted to.
If they would bring him a trade and he could veto it, essentially. So they had a trade for the Detroit Pistons. Kobe was like, I don't want to go to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
They had a trade for the Chicago Bulls. And it was a good trade, too, I think. But Kobe said that they were giving up too much to get Kobe, and he'd be in the same situation he's in now. So he was like, I don't want to go there.
What were the Bulls going to give up?
I don't even know who they had on their team at that time.
Was Derrick Rose there?
I think so, right? No, Derrick Rose didn't come in until 2000.
It was 8.
Was it 2008?
So
I can look it up.
I guess he didn't want out of LA that bad.
No, I think he wanted to put pressure on the franchise. I think Kobe's goal all along, although he did say, I watched the interview with him, and he was like, I would have left. He was like, at that point in time.
Well, I'm sure he would have if they found the right team for him. But sounds like, I mean, if he didn't want to go to Detroit and Chicago, it sounds like he didn't want to leave that bad.
At that point in time, Kobe was probably on the backside of his prime.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I still got 3 rings. Shaq's got 4 because Shaq won in 2006. I got to win. I can't have my legacy just be Shaq carried me to 3 straight finals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rose wasn't on the team.
No, he wasn't. All right. They probably got like Kirk Heinrich.
Oh yeah,
No,
Kirk Heinrich, Luol Deng.
No, Kirk Heinrich was he
Ben
wasn't
Gordon.
bad.
Ben Gordon was good for a couple years.
Ben Gordon was he's the Lou Williams of today, where he come off the bench, give big numbers, never play defense. That's just what it was. Poor Ben Gordon.
They had
Dude.
Ben Wallace too. Josh. Oh, they had Joe Smith.
Oh,
Nice.
Joe Smith, man, that's my guy, dude. He was a beast. So the franchise ends up not, and honestly, I think more franchises should end up doing this where they don't just immediately trade a player that demands a trade request. Because honestly, with the James Harden thing, they had him for 2 years. Is he really going to sit out 2 years? No, he's not going to do that. The amount of money he would lose, he's not going to do that. So keep him. Why not keep him? Like Scottie Pippen's another example. He wanted out of Chicago. They were like, "No, we're going to keep you," and he ended up playing. And they ended up winning 2 more rings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I think they should do that more when star players aren't happy instead of immediately caving.
I mean, look,
the NFL does.
Like the teams have the leverage from a contractual standpoint. Players have the leverage from a media standpoint. They can pitch a hissy fit and drag whoever through the dirt. But I mean, at the same time, it does damage to a player's brand when they demand a trade. And I mean, I don't know.
It does, unless it's like if Damian Lillard demands a trade, which he will. He's going to the Lakers.
If it's extremely understandable.
Yeah. Like with Damian Lillard, it's like, dude,
He
how many times y'all going to run that same
accepted.
lineup? Him and CJ McCollum don't work. Like, how long do we have to? How many years of his prime do we have to waste before we figure? They're never going to win a ring together.
Yeah. It's more accepted in the NBA than it is anywhere else, I think.
I like CJ McCollum. I've always liked his game. I felt like he's underrated, but him and Dame together, and then the rest of whatever they got on the court. I mean, it's just not good. I like Nurkic though.
I don't know if Dame is ever going to win a championship.
Dude, he's coming to the Lakers. That's what they're talking about.
Oh, serious? Okay, never mind.
But here's the problem:
That'd be a fun thing to watch.
I think they have to give up. They probably have to give up someone big in order. Like I've heard like Anthony Davis, and I'm like, dude, they're not giving up Anthony Davis.
Okay, that's interesting though. It's like, do you give up a clearly a better piece than Damian Lillard and Anthony Davis, but the injury risk? It's like, do you trade Anthony Davis plus with all his injury baggage for Damian Lillard, who you know is going to be available?
I think you have to keep Anthony Davis.
What if you get McCollum and
get Anthony Davis out of town?
I just don't know about.
If they do that,
if you
yeah.
get both of them, and then Anthony Davis and some bench player.
Here's the thing, though. I think a lot of times we forget because Anthony Davis was injured this year, but
every year.
Yeah, every year except for 2020. But dude, when Anthony Davis is right,
oh yeah,
I mean
that's what I'm saying. Like he's arguably
top 5.
He's top 5. He's one of the best pieces that LeBron could ask for as a sidekick when he's healthy.
And they fit together like puzzle pieces.
They do, exactly. Yeah. And I'm not sure that LeBron can make anything work, but I'm not sure that Damian Lillard or any star point guard for that matter is going to bring all that much offensively to the Lakers. I mean, he'll bring a lot, but like compared to what Anthony Davis is bringing,
Anthony Davis,
like you're going to have to play off ball, or LeBron's going to have to play off ball.
When they go small and Anthony Davis is a center, they're a matchup nightmare for anyone. Because Anthony Davis is, he's literally going to drag the center out to the 3-point line. Then LeBron's got a free run to the rim every time. It's almost unguardable when he runs center.
Yeah.
So it's like. And that defense, like they can say what they want about Giannis being the best defender or Kawhi being. To me, it's not even close. To me, any guy that can guard Bam Adebayo and then switch onto Jimmy Butler and lock both of them down.
Yeah,
it's like, how is that not the best defender in the league?
Yeah, I mean, you can do so much with that as a coach. You can put them on anyone basically, except for maybe a point guard.
Yeah. With a point guard, it's going to be tough, but. Like you wouldn't have him guarding Steph, but you could switch Anthony Davis on anyone for possession, and you're like, all right, yeah,
You can live with the
You'll
result.
live with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And his offensive skill set, I don't think is matched by anyone. Like I don't know any other power forward that has the offensive skill set that Anthony Davis has.
I think that if Anthony Davis had stayed healthy and into the future stays healthy, he would, when it's all said and done, go down as the best power forward of all time. And it would not be very close, in my opinion, if he were able to stay healthy.
If he ran 2020 like his whole career,
He would have some big shoes to fill. But I mean, it's kind of tough. Like, where do you put him now? Because
dude, I'm putting him top 5. Well, sorry, by the time his career is over, I guarantee he'll be top 5.
The talent level alone, like honestly, right now, I mean, he's got a ring.
He'll be number 4. I mean, he'll be number 4, and then you maybe like Elgin Baylor behind him or something. But like, he's clearly,
he's a beast. He's unbelievable, really. And I mean, if you look at like the advanced stats when he's on the court versus like when he's off, he honestly, like, at first I was like, clearly LeBron deserves his Finals MVP because his stats were better. It's LeBron. Anthony Davis couldn't make it out of the first round until LeBron came to town. You know, like that's what I was thinking. But when you really look at like Anthony Davis's defense and then him straight up dominating Bam Adebayo, it was closer than what people they gave it to him unanimously. But they shouldn't have. Like, Anthony Davis deserves some votes because he still put up amazing stats. The only problem is he had a bad game 5, I want to say, where he got like injured and stuff. That kind of killed him.
If Giannis wins and he continues at his rate, do you think he'll be right there with AD?
So,
Giannis is better than AD right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt. Yes.
Now, last year I would say AD's better.
So like, if both of their careers ended at the end of this season,
if Giannis wins,
who would be ahead?
Yeah,
Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis. I mean, there's more accolades. The numbers are basically the same when they're both healthy.
Giannis didn't have LeBron.
Yeah.
I honestly think we got to stop. Like, a lot of times with players, we like to go like Shaq was a great player, but he couldn't hit free throws, or you know, like LeBron's great, except for, you know, clutch free throws or like, you know, last second you wouldn't want to give the ball to LeBron. But and they do it with Giannis all the time where, oh, he's good, but he can't shoot, you know, and it's like, dude, at some point, these numbers Giannis is putting up, you got to just say, look, yeah, he can't shoot. There's no doubt about it, but he's still amazing. Any dude that can drop 30 points and a half in the finals game, it's like, I don't know what else he has to do. How long are we going to keep knocking? I don't think he's ever meant to shoot. I don't think 7-footers in general are really meant to shoot that much. They're meant to be closer to the basket. Like, Giannis is
today's
a
NBA, although if you're a superstar, you're expected to shoot, which is maybe not fair, but
yeah, I just think like in any other era, Giannis would have been a center, and he would have been a dominant center.
I agree with you. They should use him like that more. Why are you trying to force him to be? Clearly, he's got enough of an offensive repertoire to average 30.
No one can guard him down there.
No. And the long strides, the Euro steps.
It's like people thought Dr. J was a freak until an actual freak showed up, and then Giannis, and it's like this guy. He almost never gets injured. Like, he's
built like a tank.
Probably the most athletic player ever.
Dude, right now in the NBA, do we not have like 3 of the most freakishly talented athletes of all time? Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, and Giannis.
Dude,
like,
this era
who are you putting ahead of those guys?
This era of basketball is, I mean, the level of talent in the NBA right now, I don't think there's ever in a time been more stacked.
No.
Guys now, it's kind of crazy even comparing eras because it's like, I don't know, man. With the way as skilled as you have to be in the NBA right now, it's hard for me to believe some of these guys couldn't straight up dominate other eras. Like,
I think they would.
No, yeah.
I think, I don't know. I just think, you know, sports science has come a long way. I think there's I don't know. It's more of an international game. Like today's NBA, the talent pool that they're pulling from is not comparable to even the 90s.
Kobe said, I thought this was pretty interesting. Kobe did an interview with Barstool Sports. Big Cat, you know who that is?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Very Barstool.
yeah. He gets like a lot of the top NBA talent to do these podcasts, and it's interesting listening to them because they all like. That's how I found out about Drew Holiday being so good. Is Kevin Durant broke down like, dude, no, Drew Holiday is an elite point guard. And I started watching him more, and I was like, yeah, no, he is like on the defensive end. Although this final's been a little rough.
Mm-hmm.
This final's been rough. It's been tough being a Drew Holiday fan watching this finals.
He's a good defender, though.
He's a very good defender.
He's
locking up Chris Paul.
He really is.
Yeah, and when he's on Devin Booker too, it's a tough night for Booker when he's on.
He's got good size.
Yeah, he does. He's 6'5", maybe. Like he's long too. Like I like Drew Holiday a lot. But Kobe said, his daughter, who rest in peace, obviously, but she's really into basketball, and Kobe trains her or used to train her, and he said the coach was having them learn these advanced moves at a young age, and he was like, this is crazy, like I wasn't learning this when I was 10. And he called up Michael Jordan because him and Jordan were pretty good friends apparently, and he was like, what were you doing at 10 for basketball? He was like, dude, I was playing baseball at 10. He's like, I wasn't playing basketball at 10. So it's like now they're starting kids
way early.
The AAU circuit and everything at a very young age, and they're learning these advanced things. And it's just like, like the game's just evolved. And if you put in the work, you're going to be more skilled. And I just think that's I just think now, like some of these, now the NBA is kind of like the NFL, where it's like everyone in the NFL also has like an ancestor who was in the NFL as well. I think the NBA is kind of becoming that as well, where these kids now are coming in and they know exactly what to do so they can start at a younger age.
Yeah.
And then also the athletes just got better. I think food technologies got better. Science has gotten better.
The world population, the rate of birth has increased, which means that the likelihood that there's just more Giannis's and LeBrons and etc. being born.
And I think it's going to, how like the UFC right now is kind of being dominated by Russia and Africa. And that's because that sport's becoming more popular over there.
Yeah.
Those same athletes are going to come over to the NBA eventually. I think like right now, obviously, if you take like the top 10 players in the league, I would say probably 4 of them are European or from a different country.
Yeah.
Right? Like Jokic, Luka.
Yeah.
There's a couple more, but probably like 4, Giannis and whoever else. But I think eventually it's going to, as that part of the world gets better at basketball, we're going to see more and more, and the athletes just going to keep. Now, obviously, the athleticism, I don't know how it's going to get any higher than what it is now, but now the shooting. Guys are going to be pulling up, from ridiculous. It's going to, in 20 years, I wonder what basketball is going to be like. Seeing what it is now.
Yeah, I don't think that you're going to necessarily, like the best players in the NBA in 20 years aren't necessarily going to be that much better than your LeBrons and Giannis's, etc. But the amount of those players, there will be more of them. Super teams will have 3 of those guys.
I think so.
Maybe 2.
They'll probably change like different things about the game, like court size or.
Yeah, they're gonna have to add.
They got a wide court, man. I've been saying.
I think they're gonna add a 4-point.
Do you think they would increase the height of the goal too?
No, I don't think. Dude, do you realize how much that would throw off everybody? Yeah, dude, you would have to have like a couple seasons to like because they talked about that in the WNBA. Dude, for Women's Month, we're breaking down WNBA players.
I don't watch WNBA.
Dude, I want to get into it, dude. Dude, we break down Sue Bird.
I don't know who that is.
She's got 4 rings, apparently.
I know who that is. Why not?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, why not?
Gotta do Serena Williams, too.
Dude, we gotta do Serena, dude. She was amazing.
She's a boss.
She was. She won, like, the Grand Slam pregnant. It's crazy. But,
is that cheating? It's 2-on-1.
Yeah, I mean, technically it was cheating. All right, so so he demanded the trade. and the franchise, Kobe, I'm talking about, by the way, we're all over the place. That's
what we do best.
Yeah, that's what we do. But Kobe demanded a trade after that season. They lose to the Phoenix Suns, and the franchise was like, "No, we're not going to trade him." Or basically, Kobe was like, "I'm not going to either Detroit or Chicago." And the franchise went for the Hail Mary, and they traded away a first-round pick, which would have been Marc Gasol, for Paul Gasol, and they also traded Kwame Brown. That's when that's when Stephen A. Smith gave a Kwame Brown is leaving the city of Los Angeles. He gave his whole thing. So they end up bringing in Paul Gasol to match with Kobe, and they end up making the finals that year. They end up making the finals against the Boston Celtics, and the Boston Celtics in 2008 were a really good team. They went like 66 and 16.
Was that the first year of the super team? Their super team?
No, so actually 2004. Well, honestly, if we're being real, Chicago Bulls were really, those Lakers teams.
No, I mean like
he's talking about the first year that the Celtics.
Their big three.
Yeah, that was the first year they got together.
Okay.
Yeah, so they traded for Ray Allen, traded for Kevin Garnett, and they got obviously Paul Pierce was already there, but that team was stacked from the top to the bottom. They had Sam Cassell coming off the bench, who was a really good point guard back in the day. They had PJ Brown, who was he was past his prime, but he was somewhat.
That was a center, right?
Yeah. Leon Poe. He had a year or two where he was all right. James Posey was on that team. Big Baby Davis. Yeah, dude, they were a big team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously KG was in his prime. Or
Rondo
at least on the backside. Yeah, Rondo, he wasn't quite in his prime, but he was,
he was holding his own.
He was holding his own.
I remember that finals.
Yeah, people, what's forgotten about that finals is everyone says like, oh, the Celtics, the Celtics in their first playoff round went to Game 7 with the Atlanta Hawks. Then they went to Game 7 with the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. And they finally figured it out when they went up against Detroit. They beat Detroit in 6 games, and then they went up against the Lakers. But the problem, the Lakers lost to Andrew Bynum that year. He got injured. So they had no center.
He was solid for him, too.
He was second best center in the league at that time.
That's tough.
And people seem to forget that. But in reality, if they'd have had Andrew Bynum, that series could have been completely.
He was young, too, wasn't he?
He was young. And the knees weren't bad yet. Yeah. And he was offensively skilled too. Like he had some years where he put up 20 and 10.
Did his career end early because injury too, or did he just fall off?
His career ended from him playing bowling.
Bowling.
So after his last game with the Lakers,
did he play with the Cavs too?
Yeah, he did. He had like a little resurgence with the Cavs. He had a game where he had 20 and 10. Everyone's like, Andrew Bynum's back. Then they cut him. And he backed up Roy Hibbert too on those Pacer teams that went up against the Heat. Because Roy Hibbert was playing so bad, they signed Andrew Bynum. Was like, hey Roy, get it together.
Dude, didn't he play a whole game and didn't get a single rebound?
There was like a stretch where
it was after Bron hit him with the elbow in the face, and he was never the same after that. They said it messed up his head.
Huh.
Honestly, I think he never had it. If you go back and watch,
pretty good. I mean,
talking about Hibbert or Bynum?
Hibbert. I think Hibbert thrived against the Heat because the Heat didn't have a center.
Yeah.
But whenever he played any other time, he was slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Definitely
did.
slow.
He did.
Not very athletic.
Do the upward thing. Where he jumped straight up. Like he was
play defense correctly.
Yeah. He was one of the only ones that would play defense correctly. But he not athletic, slow. Didn't want it. Didn't really ever have the desire to be a great, because he could have been a great center. He really could have, but he just didn't. He didn't really seem to have it. But they get Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol immediately. I think the first game that Pau Gasol plays, Kobe has like 15 points. And after the game, they interviewed Kobe about it. He's like, dude, like I can't believe I just scored 15 points and we just won a game. So he was happy to get Pau. I think Pau at that point in his career was like, I'm a number 2. I'm here to try to win championships. I think the personalities just match. And also I think Kobe was like, all right, look, I mean, this is what we got. This is what we're going to have. Paul's still putting up 20 and 10. Like,
dude, rebounding machine.
Dude, he was a beast. He top 10 power forward all time.
For a power forward, rebounding machine.
Clutch too.
Yeah.
He's also skinny as hell too.
Yeah, nah, he was soft. He was soft.
I don't know. He wasn't soft.
Those
he was just skilled. People like to. I feel
offensively skilled.
People like to like if a power forward is skilled, they like to call. I mean, not anymore because the game's changed. But I feel like back then, if you had a power, especially if he was from Spain, they call him soft.
Yeah, his brother wasn't soft though. Marcus Gasol.
No, Marcus Gasol.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, Marcus Gasol down low. He was a problem back now. Ugh. Now
he just stays at the 3-point line.
Now, he's out of shape. Like just barely getting up the court. It's bad, man. Stuck around too long. You know, centers and he have foot problems too. It's like, dude, just give it up, man. No one wants to see you at 35 struggling down the court. Oh well. I mean, if I had a chance to make millions of dollars, I probably wouldn't give it up either.
Exactly.
But okay, so he ends up. They make it to the finals, going up against the Celtics. Without Andrew Bynum, Celtics are just better. Like that's just what it is. Kobe played, he played decent, but the Celtics ended up beating them in 6. It was just the Celtics' time. And honestly, I mean, KG got 1 ring. Paul Pierce got 1 ring. And it was kind of good to see like those guys who had stayed on the same team forever and never had success to finally break through and win a ring. The next year after that, Kobe's on a mission this year. And ends up, I think they beat the Rockets in the playoffs, and that Rockets series actually went 7 games.
Is that when McGrady and Yao Ming?
They were hurt. Aaron Brooks. Remember him? That little short
name.
guy? And I think Kyle Lowry was on that team too.
Played there.
Yeah. And they end up taking the Lakers to 7 games. And it should not have happened.
Shane Battier?
Shane Battier was on that team as well. Shane Battier, dude. Underrated defender, dude. His defense in his prime. Now, those later years in Miami, I don't know what he was doing.
Getting them rings. And
he was getting rings. Hey, that game, was it game 7 against the Spurs? He had like 5 threes or something like that. And I was like, damn, Shane Battier still got it. I like Shane Battier, dude. He's just a guy that like you could just throw in there and just be like, dude, I need 15 minutes and I need a couple threes. And he's like, dude, I got you. And I'll guard Kobe as well. He was the one that started doing that face thing. Where he put the hand in the face.
Yeah, he did.
And Kobe did never work on Kobe once. Like they showed a picture. There's a famous picture of Shane Battier just literally almost touching his face, and Kobe just knocking down a 3. He's like, dude, I don't care. But so it's important to know that next season, 2008-2009, Kobe's 26.8 points per game, 5 and 5, pretty much what he averaged the last few years of his prime. Yeah, that's it right there. Like literally, the hand is right in the face.
Dude, I'm gonna go mute this TV because I feel like Stephen A. Smith is screaming in the background.
All right, dude, go mute it. We'll continue. Okay. So they end up making the finals. They end up making the finals against the Orlando Magic. What's good to know about this though is that Kobe obviously wanted to play the Celtics again and wanted to get that one back. KG gets hurt in the playoffs, and they end up losing to the Orlando Magic. Orlando's got a pretty solid team at this point. Orlando beat the Cavs this year. They got a prime Dwight Howard. Like a Dwight Howard that is like, this is the next Shaq, Dwight Howard. At this point in time, everyone's like, this dude is the next Shaq. And he's... At that point, Dwight Howard, I mean, he dunks already broke the shot clock. Remember that? He did that in that series against the Cavs. He was a beast. And they had Hedo Turkoglu, also a beast.
Good 3-point shooter.
Good 3-point shooter. They had Rafer Alston, Skip to my Lou.
Greatest Turk of all time.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Got caught doing steroids.
Did he really?
Yeah, he got kicked out of the league for it.
Thanks, Sam.
I'm back, guys.
All right. So... They had Hedo Turkoglu. They had Rashard Lewis.
I like Lewis too.
They had Michael Petrus, I want to say, was on that team. Rafer Alston, skipped my Lou. He was on that team. Jameer Nelson was on that team. Dude, that team was stacked.
Yeah.
That team was nothing but shooters. Yeah. Nothing but shooters and Dwight. And that was prime Dwight Howard. That was my second favorite player in the league.
I mean, they were 8 deep with shooters and size. I mean,
big guards. That was the big
guards.
problem in the Cavs series is Hito Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis were like 6'10", and Mo Williams was 6 foot. They couldn't guard anyone.
No.
So it's like that was like a big problem. LeBron went off in that series. So he was averaging like 38 a game for that.
The game winner that one time.
Yeah, he did. The shot heard around the world.
Mm.
So
trying his best to get some W.
Trying his best on that team. But the Orlando Magic end up making the NBA Finals. And this NBA Finals, I watched every bit of it growing up, and I went back and rewatched it as well. It was a lot closer than people give it credit. The Lakers won in 5 games, and I think the Lakers would have won regardless. I just think the Orlando Magic, their best player by far was Dwight Howard, and Dwight Howard, you can't have him on the court in 5 minutes. With 5 minutes to go, it's hard to have Dwight Howard on the court because he's getting fouled. He's going to miss both free throws.
You got to have a 10-point cushion to feel somewhat comfortable.
Yeah, and in that series, Game 1, Lakers win. Game 2, it came down to overtime, and Courtney Lee, I think he played for the Hornets too. Eventually, did
last time we won the playoffs.
Courtney Lee had a wide open layup to win the game, and he missed it.
I remember that.
Yep. And Orlando could have been 1-1 going back to Orlando, and instead they're down 0-2. Then I think they win Game 3. Orlando does, and then in Game 4, Dwight Howard's at the free throw line, just needs to hit one, misses both. Lakers end up pulling out. Anyways, there were about 2 games there where it was like, oh snap, like Orlando could make this a series, and they completely blew it, which I think they would have anyway. I would have liked to seen it go farther. No one wants to see a 5-game series.
No.
So, but anyways, Kobe ends up getting his revenge. In that finals, he averages 32.4 points per game, 7 assists, 5.6 rebounds. So he was hooping.
Yeah.
He was hooping. That's prime time Kobe.
That is prime time Kobe.
That's the Kobe that everyone remembers, right?
Yeah.
Who was guarding him?
I think at that point, there's probably throwing a lot of people at him.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's anybody on that team who could have.
Nobody could have stopped him.
Guarded him.
Nah.
I think the Lakers matched up well with that team too.
Yeah,
they did
because they had Lamar Odom too.
Lamar Odom.
Metal World Peace.
Yeah.
Metal World Peace.
Vucevic or Vucevic.
That cat's got rings.
He does. I think
Sasha.
Adam Morrison.
Adam Morrison's got 2 rings.
Dude, there was a lot of hair going on that team.
Yeah.
You know, Kobe absolutely hated those 2. There's no way he did not hate Adam Morrison. Dude,
You know he
there's like you can
He
even
didn't care about basketball anymore.
if you watch it closely, like you can see where like Adam Morrison's trying to like give high fives, and Kobe's face is like, dude, I'm gonna high five you for the cameras, but let it be known I hate you.
So it's got to be like one of the best college players. Like the biggest disparities between how good you were in college and how good you were in the NBA.
Jimmer Fredette, too.
Him and what was the name of the first overall pick that the Cavs made?
Cavs picked up?
Anthony Bennett. Trash bag.
I think we all knew.
Which he wasn't even like an incredible college player.
No,
he was really good.
Why they drafted him. That
was a weak draft.
That was a weak draft, but still.
Yeah.
Anthony Bennett, dude.
They should have drafted Oladipo.
Dude, the Cavs franchise has
anyone
never,
else.
Or Nerlens Noel.
The Cavs franchise has never gotten it right.
No.
The only time they ever got it
and
right
they've
was
been
in
handed gifts in the lottery. I mean, oh my God.
Kyrie too.
They drafted Deion Waiters, Tristan Thompson. Kyrie. I mean, that was a good draft pick.
This is a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Anthony Bennett, Andrew Wiggins, like they're just not that good at drafting. Like, which then again, no one is. If you look at like where some of the greatest players ever went in the draft, no one knew what they were doing. No one knows how to evaluate talent. They really don't. I think it's getting better now as you see more players take over the GM roles. So I think like Larry Bird's really good at scouting talent.
I think it's harder to transition from basketball. From college to pro, especially because they don't have enough games in.
Yeah.
Football, like you have like 3 or 4 years of like film you can study each player.
Also, it's like like Tyler Hansborough in college was bigger than everybody else. Well,
It does seem like they're a little undersized in college.
In Tyler Hansborough gets to the NBA. Oh, dude, you're a slow white guy. Like, yeah, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never gonna work out.
Yeah.
Like, he was just his skill set was. Yeah, he actually had a decent jumper on him, but he was just bigger than everyone else in college. You get to the NBA, everyone's bigger, stronger, faster. So it's like Zion Williams to some degree. It's like, dude, like in college, you're bigger, stronger, faster than everyone. You're a above average athlete in the NBA, but it's not like,
Hold on. Are we talking about Zion?
Like Zion Williams is an above average athlete in the NBA, but in college he was a god.
Dude, Zion is one of the best athletes in the NBA. I mean, when he's healthy,
Better than a Greek freak.
He's pretty good for his size.
No. That's not one. I said one of the best. But
for his weight and size, he's pretty athletic.
Oh, it's insane. It's gonna be I hope not, but I think it's gonna be a short window. Because
unless he drops some weight,
he's got to drop some weight, especially later on in his career.
Zion Williamson is the most explosive pound for pound player that the NBA has ever seen, in my opinion. Pound for
more
pound.
Explosive than Russell Westbrook.
Pound for pound.
A prime D Rose.
Again, pound for pound.
I don't know, man.
Westbrook is insane.
Westbrook's athleticism.
I know I get it's pound for pound.
Pound for pound. Yeah, it's close. I don't know though, dude. Like even the Greek freak and stuff, like you see the way they jump and it's like it doesn't even make sense. Giannis can get from the half court line to the basket in 2 steps. It makes no sense. But anyways, dog, we're already an hour in. We're not like 2010.
I gotta take a leak.
All right,
can I go take a leak?
Go take a leak, dude.
I feel bad.
Dude, Sam is just—he's mailing in this podcast. All right, 2010, Kobe. During that season, the 2009-2010 season, 27 points per game, 5-5. Pretty much, what he did towards the end.
That's what Kobe does.
That's what he does. 27, 5-5. On not great shooting efficiency.
And that's Kobe.
Yep, that's Kobe.
Yep.
I love Kobe, but that's what Kobe is. But they end up making it back to the finals. Everyone's healthy. They're going up against the Celtics. Celtics are healthy. Lakers are healthy. And Lakers end up beating them in 7 games. Dude.
They had to come back, though, right?
They had to come back. So it was 2-2 going into the 5th game. And the Celtics end up winning that 5th game. And everyone's like, oh, snap. Like, Celtics about to.
Because they won 2 in a row, right?
And what ended up happening, honestly, that Game 7, Kobe had like the worst Game 7 he's ever had in his career. It was really bad. But Ron Artest hit the shot of shots. And he said afterwards they didn't want him to shoot it. Phil Jackson was like, don't shoot it. Don't shoot it. Please don't shoot it.
He's like, I'm shooting it.
He's like, I'm shooting it, dude. Whatever. They end up going back-to-back champions. Kobe gets the finals MVP. There were a lot of people that played really well in that finals. I think they had Matt Barnes on that team, didn't they?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Matt Barnes played really well. Matt Barnes has always been just a solid NBA player.
Was Matt Barnes also on the Magic team?
I want to say he was. But at that point, I think he was with the Lakers, though.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
He did play for the Magic, though, back in the day.
Barnes.
Matt Barnes.
But we're talking about when Matt Barnes tried to make Kobe flinch?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Oh, I do.
We haven't brought it up. He was on the Magic at that time when he did that. I don't know what year that was, but that was wild that he just pump faked him. And they talk about it later, and he was like,
he was on the Magic the year they lost to the Lakers, and then the next year he went to the Lakers.
Yeah. Okay, so that's when it probably happened in 2009. Then when
and then their teammates.
Yeah. Then you know what happened after that game when Matt Barnes flinched the ball at him? Kobe called Matt Barnes and was like, "Hey, join us in LA. I'm sick of y'all motherfuckers like Ron Artest trying to beat me up every night." And so Kobe calls Ron Artest and he calls Matt Barnes like, "Come to the Lakers." And they both end up on the Lakers because of that.
Oh, wait, no. He was on the Magic the year after the finals. And then he joined the Lakers after they beat the Celtics.
Oh, really?
So he didn't win a ring.
He didn't win a ring until the Warriors. Wow, I didn't
there
know that.
Yeah.
I thought he won.
He bounced
Trevor
around.
Ariza was on that team, though, right? And then they got rid of him from Ron Artest.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He didn't win a ring until then. Like, he bounced around so many good teams.
He did. Damn, I didn't realize that. He was on the Suns, weren't? Yeah. So they end up winning the ring. Kobe. Oh, something else I thought was pretty funny. There was this this person was talking about their time they met Kobe, and it said like they were at dinner and Kobe was sitting at the table across from them, and he was reading the paper, and it had a picture of Paul Pierce holding the championship. This is right after 2008. The finals had just ended, and Kobe's reading the newspaper with Paul Pierce's whole face on it. And he rips out the picture of Paul Pierce and puts it in his pocket. And he sees them looking at him, and he just looks over at him, and he's like, "This is for motivation." And just keeps going. Like, it's just such a Kobe story.
Kobe Bryant is a psychopath.
He really is. He really is. The next year after that, 2010-2011 series, they end up getting swept by the Dallas Mavericks, who went on to win the championship. Dude, that Dallas team, man.
We should do that team.
Yeah,
Just
that team was, dude. Jason Kidd, old Jason Kidd,
Jason Terry,
Prime.
You know, Corey
Stackhouse.
does not want to do that team.
Dude, I'll do it. I rewatched
Stackhouse.
those games, dude. It was rough. It was rough, dude.
Yeah.
They don't age well.
No.
Peja Stojakovic was on that team. People forget.
He was?
Tyson Chandler was on that team.
Chandler.
Brandon Haywood on that team. Yeah, I watched it recently, dude.
God,
I went to bed
Haywood.
crying. Dude, while I was watching this Kobe stuff, I was watching like a lot of videos of like, you know, him passing away and stuff, and it was just kind of sad. And I was just sitting in there like in my house, like getting emotional. And then I was like, I'm a 25-year-old man just sitting in my house alone, crying over a Kobe video. It's like he just wanted to win
Hey,
so
it's
bad.
that type of energy.
Yeah.
That's why you do an NBA podcast.
That's why we do an NBA podcast. That season he averaged 25, 5, and 5. So he was still putting up crazy numbers. So they end up getting swept. This is the play where Andrew Bynum hits JJ Barrera with his elbow as he's
roll
going
R.
to the rim.
Yeah.
I can't roll.
I can't do it.
I can't
It's
do it.
unbearable.
He
Hey,
hits.
Eric's Mexican. He can't roll
I
R's.
can't
Come on,
do it.
man.
I can't either. He ends up hitting Andrew Bynum, hits JJ Barrera hard as crap.
He's a small dude, too.
Yeah, he's like 5'11", cooking in the finals. It was unbelievable. But JJ Barrera goes down. Andrew Bynum gets kicked out. He takes off his jersey while he's walking out, and the announcer says, "You got to figure that might be the last time he ever puts on that jersey." And it was. They ended up getting rid of him, trading him to Philadelphia. He doesn't play a single game for Philadelphia because he gets in a bowling accident, and he never was the same.
What does a
after that.
bowling accident look like exactly?
I have no idea. Honestly, I
Sounds
think
like a freak accident.
I think Andrew
Is it
Bynum's
like a
just one of
banana
those
peel
guys.
type of deal where you slip and you fall backwards and hit your head? Like, what else could even happen?
I don't even know, dude. I just know.
We
like,
gotta test it out.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
We gotta go bowling.
The year after that, 2011-2012, he's averaging 27.9 points per game, 5 and 5.
Is that when Nash comes?
Yep. So this is when they form a super team. Well, what they thought was a super
Their
team.
third
What they
version
didn't
of
know is that Steve Nash was on one leg pretty much. And so they had Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, Andrew Bynum. No, Andrew Bynum wasn't on the team. Ron Artest, and
Lamar
Paul
Odom still around?
Gasol, and I think
They went like 500, didn't they?
They made the playoffs, right?
Yeah, they made the playoffs.
8 seed or something.
This honestly was one of the more underrated seasons from Kobe because Dwight Howard was coming off that injury. He was not the same player. Steve Nash was injured pretty much the whole year. Ron Artest at that point was a defensive player, not a scorer.
This
And
is when
Kobe dragged that team to the playoffs.
They prevented the Chris Paul trade, right? And is that when they got Steve Nash instead?
Yep, they were trying to get Chris Paul.
That would have been a hell of a team.
Dude,
Mm.
that would have been a pretty good team. They would have probably, I don't know if they'd have won a championship, but they'd have.
You think they would have butted heads a lot?
Chris Paul and Kobe?
Yeah,
I think at that point, Chris
No.
Paul would be so ready to win a ring.
I think so.
I don't think they butt heads.
I don't think Kobe would allow it.
I think they get along pretty well.
Mhm.
Because I feel like they're both like incredible competitors, and that can irk a lot of people, but they wouldn't irk each other.
I
And
think
it's
they
not
would-
like they have huge egos, so it's not like that would be an issue.
I think they would respect the hell out of each other in the same team.
Yeah.
I don't know how him and did Chris Paul ever play with Dwight? No.
No. No, he played with DeAndre Jordan. and Blake Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
That team underrated too. They should have won a ring.
Dude, the West was stacked.
So stacked.
With Houston and the Clippers
the
and
Spurs too.
The old ass Spurs still
Yeah,
through.
dude. They that's pretty crazy for a first round matchup. You get the Spurs and the Clippers.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that was when basketball. Dude, go back in the mid 2010s. That was when basketball was like, whoa, dude, all these teams.
Because you loved some Blake Griffin back then.
Oh, I did like Blake Griffin a lot until, when the knees went, it was like, dude, he is so limited offensively. He's actually a pretty good 3-point shooter now. It's kind of crazy how he's evolved his game. And he's still pretty athletic, too.
Sneaky.
Yeah, he's sneaky athletic now. But, so that was the year Kobe tore his Achilles, 2011, 2012. Tore his Achilles, trying to make it to the playoffs. Honestly, one of the best sports moments, I think, of our lifetime, when he got up and shot those 2 free throws and he was like crying.
Walked off like a champ.
Walked off like a champ, dude. Most guys.
I would never.
Dude. And then we all had to pretend that Dwight Howard was going to lead the Lakers. Like, we all had to have that, like, couple weeks where we're like, dude, Dwight might do it, man. He might turn back into Dwight. And, of course, Dwight Howard, right on schedule, gets you 20 points of the most inefficient offense that you could think of. And, I mean, it just wasn't good. It was a fail of a super team, unfortunately. Actually, no, I'm wrong. So, 2012-2013 season, that was the season they got Nash and everyone.
Okay.
And then that was the year. He averaged 27.3 points per game, 5 and 6. That was his last great year. Tore his Achilles that year. And they end up getting beat by the San Antonio Spurs in the playoffs. It was good, Eric. I like that.
This is a good catch.
Dropping my mic.
Yeah. After that, it was pretty much a wrap at that point, because the next year after that, he averaged 13.8 points per game, 6 and 4.
He barely played that year.
He barely played that year. When he came back, he was clearly out of shape, and
He was just
the
throwing up tough
athleticism
ones.
was gone at that point. And he had to work himself back into shape. Now, the next year after that, he averaged 22.3 points per game, 5 and 5. So he got back to, not quite Kobe status. All-star level. And then in 2015-2016, 17.6 points per game, 3 and 3. So, the wheels had fell off at that point.
Yeah.
But still his body basically started to betray him. He started having knee problems, and he actually went to Germany to get his knees fixed. He started working with Tim Grover, Michael Jordan's old trainer. After that Achilles tear, though, it was clear his athleticism was pretty much gone at that point. And he ended up, his last game ever, dropping 60 points. Took 50 shots now.
We're not going to talk about that. He can take 50 shots in his last game.
Dude, it's kind of crazy. I went back
and honestly, dude, 22 for 50, it's not like that's below what he normally shoots.
Yeah, that's about normal. I went back and watched that game. They had these condensed versions on YouTube, so I went back and watched it.
Were they playing soft defense?
Dude, the soft defense.
Yeah,
the Utah Jazz, honestly, the Utah Jazz, they should have lost their paychecks that game. That defense was... I get it. He's an icon. I get it. He's one of, when you think of players, and he's one of the greatest players of the generation, every player loves him. But to not compete.
Yeah, you don't want, and I don't.
Because they came from behind to win, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they were losing. The Lakers were losing, and he came back and won it.
Yeah. It was crazy. He had a 60-point game against the Madison Square Garden against the Knicks.
Yeah.
He had 61. No, that was in 2009. He had 61. The next game after that, LeBron had a 50-point triple-double. And they were like, holy smokes. It's I remember being so pumped growing up when LeBron was about to play the Knicks. I was like, what's he going to do? Kobe just had 61. Goes out and drops a 50-point triple-double. I was like, oh, my God. They took away the triple-double at the end, though. Oh. They said one of the rebounds didn't count. They gave it to Ben Wallace.
God.
Dude,
I hate to see it.
Damn it, man.
I think I was more upset than LeBron. I was furious. I was like, dude, no, that's a legitimate triple-double. That was right when, everyone was like, dude, LeBron could average a triple-double if he wanted to. And I was like,
And Westbrook goes
yeah,
3 straight.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Westbrook. That's we'll break down that eventually. I think when we have more time about the triple double and like when it became popular and stuff. 'Cause I was telling Sam about it. Like I didn't realize that it wasn't really a thing back when Oscar Robertson was playing because he averaged a triple double. But they didn't call it that back then. It really didn't get popularized until the 1980s when Magic Johnson's agent came up with the term triple double. And that's the thing. If you go back and look at Oscar Robertson's stats, there were multiple seasons where he had like 9 and 9.
Jesus.
And he could have pushed for that triple double. He just didn't know. Do you think Wilt Chamberlain, the year he averaged 8.6 assists, wouldn't have been if he knew triple doubles was a thing? Dude, he would have been riding teammates' asses. There's no way. I mean, he averaged like 24, 24, and 8. He would have figured it out.
Yeah. Or he would have just gotten a triple double on blocks.
Yeah, triple double on blocks. Right? Well, they didn't count blocks back then. Yeah. So the last 3 seasons for Kobe, a little rough, but he's working his way back from injury, and I think he did pretty good, all things considered. I mean, when you're 34 years old, you tear your Achilles. It's, I thought it would be bad for Kevin Durant. Obviously, he has showed no signs of slowing down, but for Kobe, his body, unfortunately, he just knew it was time, and he finished like 4th all time on the all-time scoring list, and it was 3rd. He beat Michael Jordan on the all-time scoring list until LeBron passed him, but. Yeah, so I mean, there's something there. Yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty much what I had here. I mean, obviously he passed away, which was sad.
Tragic.
Do you guys remember where you were when you found out the news?
I was in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, and there was a foot of snow on the ground, I think.
What was that, December? It was December, I think. I think it was right before Christmas.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know. I was in my house.
I had no service. Chanel called me, and she's like, "Oh my God, Kobe died." And I was like, "There's no way."
But we found out.
I started looking it up, and I was like, "Oh shit, this actually happened."
I was in the grocery store.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We found out that Kobe died, and then like 2 hours later? It wasn't until like 2 hours later that we found out his daughter died too.
I was at the grocery store, and I was on the phone with my brother, and I got a notification from like CNN or something. I looked, and I was like, and I read it, and I was like, Kobe died. What? A plane crash. And I said it out loud. I was like, oh snap, Kobe died. My brother heard me, and then the lady next to me goes, can you believe that? And it's like everyone in the grocery store like found out, and you could just tell it did. I remember my mom called me about it. My mom doesn't give a shit about basketball, and she called me about it. She's like, can you believe Kobe Bryant passed away? I was like, man, that's crazy. When my parents never watched basketball. So for them to know, it's kind of crazy. You don't really realize how big of an influence someone has until they pass away. Like the amount of people that looked at Kobe as an idol.
And just the fact that, he was a great dad and they were on their way to his daughter's basketball game.
And dude, honestly, just for the WNBA alone, like obviously it's a huge loss for everyone, but it's a huge loss for them because I really do think like Kobe Bryant's daughter being in the WNBA, the amount of press that would have got, I would have watched it. Why wouldn't you watch it to see like it would have been? I was looking forward because like the whole thing was Kobe never had a son, right? He had like 3 or 4 daughters or whatever. And they would ask him about it, like, when are you going to try to get a son, like playing the NBA? And he would always say, nah, this one right here she's going to be like, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like, I thought it would have took women's basketball to the next level. So that sucks that we never really got to see, because I think she had that mama mentality. It really sucks. What really sucks also is that there were 9 people in that helicopter, not just 2.
Yeah.
And those other 9 people don't even. It's like Kobe died, and every once in a while you get Kobe and his daughter died, and then every once in a while you get Kobe and 8 other people died. And that kind of sucks. Those other people aren't.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, those people were very important to their families, but I mean, it's just different. It doesn't mean that they
Doesn't change the value of their
Yeah.
It doesn't change the value of their life. It's just the fact that Kobe touched more lives because he was a celebrity and an icon.
That's true.
You know, so it's hard to be sad for somebody
Yeah.
you don't know. But
Do you know why he started taking the helicopter?
why?
traffic.
Yep.
Yeah.
When he moved to LA at first, the traffic wasn't that bad, but he still wanted to be able to take his kids to school stuff, but he still has to get his workout in. So he was like, I can't be sitting in traffic all the time. So
Yeah.
came up with the helicopter idea.
Imagine getting dropped off at school in a helicopter.
Dude,
I bet his daughters felt like the shit.
Queens.
They probably hated it though. You know, they're probably like, oh my god, like
You're like, Dad, this is so embarrassing.
You know, like there's a lot of like athletes' kids, like LeBron's kid, like Bronny or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got to be thinking like, Dad, can you just not go to this game? Like, you make it all about you, like, and everyone's focused on you, and I don't want this to be given to me. You know, I'd imagine he's probably saying something
there's
like
definitely some. I'm sure there's some frustration with like, them wanting to be their own person, not wanting to feel like they're not making a name for themselves.
Yeah, like what if Bronny really loves table tennis and he's just like, I'm going to become the greatest table tennis player
That
ever.
would be hilarious.
Yeah, and he's just like, I don't really care for ball. Like, he's like, you mean the one where they shoot baskets? Like, he doesn't even understand the sport. Yeah, but that really sucks. But Kobe, obviously an icon. Obviously, dude. Mike Breen said, like, the day he passed away and they still had NBA games, Mike Breen said he was in China in like just a random person's cab, and the person was trying to speak to him, and he ended up mentioning Kobe Bryant. The dude was like, oh yeah, Kobe, like, that's pretty crazy. You're in a different country and the guy can't understand you at all, but he understands Kobe. So it's like, I thought that was pretty cool. It shows you how far of a reach these guys have and how much of an influence they make on people without even really.
It really does, because I can only name like maybe 3 athletes outside the U.S. and they're probably all soccer.
Yeah.
I don't even think I can name that, to be honest with you. Usain Bolt?
Yeah.
The rest of them? It starts getting a little dicey after that. Dude, what'd you think about the girl who got kicked out of the Olympics for smoking a joint?
Who?
I don't know her name.
What sport?
Claire?
If she knew the rules, I mean...
She knew the rules. That's the problem. It's like, I get it. I get where people are coming from. I don't think it's a performance-enhancing drug. It's not. But you knew. Like, you had to know. You knew the rules coming. It's not like they changed the rules. Like, no.
I don't think it should be the rule, but...
that's the thing. Like, on the one hand, it's, I think most people would agree it's probably kind of a silly rule.
It is.
But, but as an athlete, if you know the rules, it's just amazing that you're willing to. I mean, at the same time, maybe she felt like she couldn't deal with stress or something like that without it.
Dude, could you imagine, like, you literally train for 4 years and you have one shot. And it's like, if you don't do well, you have to wait 4 more years to redeem yourself.
That's the thing. I mean, you're sacrificing a lot when you know that you might get tested.
And I mean, honestly, like, to be an Olympian, how much money are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you'll get some sponsors.
Yeah, that's the only way you're gonna make money. They don't make money, do they? I mean,
not much anyway.
There's a USA team fund that like funds most of their travel plans too. So.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know.
But they don't make any kind of income.
No.
Salary income.
No. But a lot of other countries, the player or the athlete themselves has to pay for their own flight and own food and stuff. So.
Which that's crazy to think about.
Yeah. You would think that their own country would help them.
Yeah, you would also think, though, if you're coming from a country that won't even pay for you to get there, you're probably not going to get bronze. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably...
Yeah, but I mean, but
yeah, I get it. You should.
But that's like the pinnacle of their sport.
Yeah.
I mean, the U.S. is the only country really where the pinnacle of sports isn't the Olympics. It's whatever respective sport.
Yeah.
You have a league that is world class. For the most part. I mean, I'm speaking like soccer's different, but
Yeah,
for the most
like
part,
wrestling.
yeah.
Like wrestling, it's got to be the Olympics. Like what else could it?
Wrestling.
But even like hockey, which isn't a dominantly U.S. sport, it's mostly like Canadian and European, but the dominant league is in the U.S.
America needs a great athlete like Michael Phelps back in the day. Like, remember when Michael Phelps was swimming and everyone was like on board.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we love this guy. Like, we love him. Swimming is terrible to watch, and yet we were still like, dude, he's gonna get gold.
Dude, I don't know, man. I like watching.
It was
Maybe
very
it was
entertaining.
just Phelps,
It was
but
Phelps, dude.
I don't know. I really.
Dude, he was a damn fish out there, son.
It's so
He
fun to
was so
watch.
fast. And America needs that, dude. We need that right now. We need a great athlete to come up and in a sport that no one cares about. It should be curling. Honestly, it should be. We should just have like just a thick cornbread woman just down there just scrubbing that thing, son. And dude, every American just all of a sudden you hear in the crowd, USA, like, dude, we need it bad.
You know, we have a curling center here in Charlotte.
Dude, I'll try it.
Dude,
I mean,
we should train
Let's do it.
and form.
honestly, we.
Dude, the Olympics are in 2 years. Wait, is this the Olympics or the Summer Olympics?
Yeah, it should have been
So
last
Winter
year.
Olympics? No, it's like next year, dude.
Mm.
I don't know.
Whenever it is.
I
We
have
got
no
time.
idea when the Olympics.
We got time.
My
Meeting up next
parents are
weekend.
always like, "Oh my God, have you been watching the Olympics?" I'm like, "No, actually, I missed it." No, dude, hey, I would be down to try. You know, just to give it a. I should tell you all about this. This one time, a dude who had when I worked at my old company. A dude who used to work there before me used to drop by sometimes just to say hi. I didn't even really know him. He invites me to a boxing class with him. And so I was like, no, because I'm not in shape, and also I'm not about to like you've probably been a couple times, and so therefore I'm not about to get beat up in front. And he was like, no, dude, I haven't been but one other time. And you'll love it. So I left work and then we went to this boxing class together. It was just me and him, two fat white guys, just two overweight guys just in there hitting a heavy bag. After about 30 seconds, we both give out from exhaustion. And then afterwards, like the striking coach or whatever, like worked with us on the proper way to throw a punch and stuff. And then afterwards, the guy looks at me and he says, "Man, I'm telling you, man, you keep this up, dude." he hits me with one of those, right? And I'm feeling it. I'm like, dude, if I took this seriously, like, dude, hey, I could be heavyweight champion.
Probably on paper in
Yeah.
a few years.
Like, honestly, like,
Were you at Mayweather?
yeah, I've been calling out Mayweather.
Dude, apparently anybody can fight Mayweather these days. So. You know.
So, but it was so funny. Like, we was walking out to the car, and like, dude, I got such a big head because I was like, dude, he said I'm legit. and we get to the car, and Paul, the guy's name is Paul, was like, "Yeah, you did pretty good in there." Or something. I was like, "Well, obviously the instructor thought so."
And then next thing you know, the membership is $40 a month.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what Paul said. He's like, dude, he's trying to get you to come back. Like,
exactly.
you sucked. Like, just to be clear, anyone that was fighting you would just have to wait 25 seconds, and then they would have their way with you. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, I just, it's so funny how easy it was for me to be like, oh, dude, I got
Really?
it.
You think so?
I did. I was just born with hands. That's the problem. Oh, so where do you got Kobe all time? Go ahead, Eric.
I don't know.
I wasn't prepared for this.
I wasn't either.
I know I'm throwing curveballs.
I'm putting him. I don't know.
Top 10?
Yeah, he's top 10.
I'd
He's
say
not
top
top 5.
Not top 5?
But I can't tell you specific. Dude, like we gotta like whenever we do one of the guys who could legitimately be the GOAT, you know, either Jordan or LeBron or Kareem.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we do one of those guys, we got to be prepared to make like a top 10 list.
We do. I've already made one. And Sam,
No, I know
Sam
you-
shit on it. Like, he was like, dude,
I
you
did.
got Tim Duncan way too high.
Where's he have Drew Brees at?
Dude, you had Tim Duncan at 6, didn't
I
you?
did have Tim Duncan at 6. It's
That's-
a little high. It's a little high. I got to redo it. I was on something that night, I guess. I don't know what was going on. All right. Well, hey, look. I mean, you know, we've been going for an hour and 30. I saw Chanel called, so I know, you know, got to get home to the missus here soon.
Hungry.
I know that's right. All right, well, hey, that's a wrap from us. You know, hopefully I'll be on vacation coming up, so I won't be recording for a week. But then after that, we'll get Dwayne Wade.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I guess me and Brandon got to fight, right?
No, I think
Nah,
we
we
just
got-
have both of you.
We
on.
got a fourth mic now.
Yeah, might as well.
There's
I mean,
no fighting needed.
We
Yeah.
can still fight.
You can
Right.
still fight. It'd be pretty good. We could videotape it and then put it on.
And
That would
send
be
it to
a
the
good
Olympics
fight.
to see if we're good.
That would be a good fight. Honestly, Eric's sneaky athletic. All right, fellas, or ladies. It's probably fellas, but let's get real.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll catch y'all
Dude,
next time with
Irish
Dwayne
foot.
Wade.
Come on. We at least